Good afternoon. I'd like to thank Carl and the Pipeline Safety Trust for inviting us down here, or me, to represent gas workers. I believe the gas workers are not represented as a stakeholder or partner in some of these decisions. And I think that was brought up as well back in April by Carl Wood. So we'd like to see more of an involvement with not obviously every worker, but people that represent the workers, because we do bring their issues forward. Like you said, I represent the New England Gas Workers Association. We're based in New England, of course. Based in Massachusetts. We have about a little over 3,000 members, actual gas worker members, and we also have, collaborations with cities, towns, and different groups. And our number one goal is safety, plain and simple. I'll use the pointer here. Obviously the first question is, where's the problem? I think you can see this is a problem. If you look at the little girl, and I guess that's the mother, I would guess, she's either texting and she's either playing a video game or texting, and look what's right in front of her. Now this is a hazard for two reasons. One, it's clearly basically hazardous to walking down the sidewalk, but also there's a 10% LEL and a manhole is being vented within 3 feet of the home. This is a problem. This stuff has to stop. When we want to find out what's going to improve things like getting rid of this is one first example. Just want to address, and I know we're on short time, so I want to do quickly, the problems. Again, in our view, there's probably a lot more in our opinion, but we try to make it basic to this conference. Treatment of non-hazardous gas leaks, a numbness of gas leaks, drastically reduced staffing levels, predicting the unpredictable, and a blind eye approach to the solution. I'll try to explain them all, hopefully. Treatment of non-hazardous gas leaks, of course they get worse over time. Gas leaks don't fix themselves. Many gas leaks left unrepaired for decades. Massachusetts, we have 22,000 gas leaks that are grade 3s that will not be repaired. Outside of some abnormal operating condition that's repaired, but generally they're not repaired. They were years ago, but we've gotten away from repairing those. We just don't have the staff to do it. Many costs associated with maintaining, we talk about the ratepayers' costs. The ratepayers are paying for annual rechecks, repeat response to odor complaints. One company has 40,000 leak responses for the year, 40,000. Hundreds of millions are lost annually across the U.S. That's the leaking gas. And one of the biggest factors I'm finding is the greenhouse gas damage to our environment. Couple of quick facts on greenhouse gas, GHG. Methane's 21 times more potent than CO2. It basically takes 12 years for methane to dissipate once you repair the leak, as opposed to CO2, which is 50 to 200 years. As you can see, methane's decreased 150% since mid-1700s, while CO2 is just 35%. In 2009, distribution pipeline leaks accounted for over 40 billion cubic feet in the United States. That's a conservative estimate, 40 billion cubic feet of gas through the air, gone off the pipeline. Annual methane greenhouse gas emissions equal 48 million passenger cars. Oops, wrong one. So just a basic breakdown of where those leakage from the distribution sector. And as you can see, protected steel, customer leaks, plastic, significant for plastic, cast iron, and unprotected makes up almost the entire chart, with the exception of meter regulator stations and regulator stations as well. This is what I mean by getting numb to gas leaks. We had a company in New England, had an explosion at number 76. If you look at this, I highlighted the one to the right, because there was 8 gas leaks called in the month prior to the explosion, either next door or across the street in close proximity to the house. And I'm not saying just the company management is getting numb, the workers are getting numb. You report to the same leak 8 times in a month, there's a problem. If you look to the left, 22 gas leaks in the 4 years prior to this explosion. That's a problem. Staffing levels, significant reduction since deregulation, and deregulation was in 1998 in Massachusetts. Employees with decades of service will tell you, we do much less preventive work than we used to. A lot of things we used to do, we don't do. Clearing gate boxes in the mayor's passionate presentation, 4 hours to shut gas off, that's inexcusable. Inexcusable. You should be able to arrive on site and cut the gas off, period. Not only is the explosion a hazard, it's a hazard due to the firemen, as well as the gas responders. We don't want to respond to something on fire. Obviously, we get there and shut it off, it'd be great. And that happens way too often. Way too often. Matter of fact, Massachusetts, one company estimated 78% of their shutoffs are inaccessible. I mean, it's ridiculous, 78%. Less home and business visits due to technology, unbundling services, subcontracting, chasing the worst leaks. We don't go in the homes anymore, essentially, and that's another issue. And we're not advocating going back in the homes. I'm just saying this is one of the facts of some of the problems we're having. We're just not in the homes on a regular basis or monthly basis like meter reading. And maybe some people still do direct meter reading, but most are remote meter reading now. Meter reading, sorry. This is the residential customer per employee. And if you see the chart that started to jump really high, it's right around deregulation, and it skyrockets. And if you look at the amount of customers that were brought on service, that doesn't factor in. It's strictly, and I'll show you another chart. More customers, less workers. From 1998, and again I cited deregulation, 155,000 workers across the U.S. The 2007 down 120,000. 25% drop in staffing. And we're questioning what the problem is. Less staffing, less maintenance, less oversight, less repairs. These are some of the problems we're having. Now, obviously, we've heard a lot about the aging infrastructure, and I agree, it is aging. But if you look at these charts, it would look like it's not. This is leaks repaired, and this is minus third-party hits. So, because third-party would be, not related, pretty much. It's a big factor, but not related to aging infrastructure. If you look at the amount of leaks repaired, it just drops off significantly. So, if I was looking at this chart, I'd think, well, geez, there's not a problem with the infrastructure. No, there is, but the repairs are less because there's less workers to do them. So we have more leaks out there and more risk to the public. What I mean by predicting unpredictable, the pilot programs, I can't stand the word pilot programs, especially in Massachusetts. Some of the risks that are being taken, that's the first thing we need to do is get rid of these pilot programs. Trying to estimate when a cast iron main's going to break is insane, in my opinion, when you have the level of cast iron that the mayor has as well as Massachusetts has. There are actually winters where they've done 1 day of winter patrol or no winter patrol at all with a huge amount of cast iron. That's inexcusable. It must be mandated, in our opinion. It must mandate winter patrol. It should not be a discussion, nothing. Every single cast iron, obviously focusing on the worst ones, it's 4 to 6 inch, 4 to 8 inch, whatever it is, as a priority, but to do no winter patrol is inexcusable in my opinion. What's the fix? Rates. Redesign rate recovery for a call to action plan what the DOT is talking about. And that's each individual state would have to address the rates. And low returns create incentive for LDCs to avoid discretionary investments. It was my business, they have shareholders to answer to, they have their bosses to answer to, and money is a factor. In order to address some of these issues, you're going to have to address the way the rates are done. And if you look at regulators have the control for change, decoupling is one, replacement recovery, efficiency programs. All these things were factored in to address specific issues through the rates. And does that mean, including some of the replacement recovery with repair? Possibly, but we got to get creative and allow the companies to recover some of the money for increased maintenance above and beyond what they've done in the past. Here's a problem that I see pretty clearly. Massachusetts ratepayers spent $65 million on gas efficiency programs. I was actually wrong with the number. It's $71 million, but close enough. But saved less than half the amount of gas leaked out of the pipeline in 2010. So those 22,000 gas leaks leaked out double what they saved with efficiency and spent $65 million on efficiency. Doesn't mean I'm for efficiency, but it doesn't make any sense. This is the stuff that has to be addressed. And again, efficiency, saving gas is for a million reasons. I mean, obviously I went through them, GHG, The risks associated, there's a ton of reasons to fix them and not many reasons not to. This is what I call a blind eye approach to solution. Replacement will solve all our problems. I disagree. It's got to be more than replacement. You know, that might be tomorrow's solution. It's not today's. As the mayor said, four decades to get all his stuff replaced. I wouldn't want to wait 4 decades if I had a 80-year-old pipe in front of my house. Risk associated with rush to replace, and I mean by polyethylene or plastic, which Linda covered earlier. There were issues in earlier plastic. I think a lot of those have been resolved. However, incorrect installation is a huge factor in polyethylene. If you install it wrong, it's going to fail down the road quickly. Collective failure for future generations. We're in a rush to replace all this pipe now. The service life, and I've done a ton of research, it's 50 years is the furthest any engineer or scientist will go with polyethylene on the record. Steel was 80 years and cast iron was 100. So we're putting something with a less service life in the ground, which is fine. But we've always done reciprocal replacement. If you do a rush to replace everything 50 years from now, you're going to pass this problem on to somebody else. More plastic is going to increase third-party hits. Third-party hits make up 35% of the incidents today. It's a no-brainer. You put a lot more plastic in the ground, you can have a lot more third-party hits. You may be trading off hazards. Take a nail at your house and see if you can bend it. You can't. Try bending a plastic pen. That's the difference between polyethylene. The strength isn't there. I know they're working on new stuff. That'd be great to address that problem, as well as the locating issues. It's not steel. You can't locate it, so you put tracer wire in. The tracer wire itself might rot or fail before the pipe does in 50 years. Who knows? And it's truly too late to make up for lost time. I think replacement should have been done at a much quicker pace, but we can't fix that now. It's gone. So I think we have to use replacement in a wise manner. And otherwise, we're going to be sitting here, maybe not me, somebody else, in 5, 10 years from now or even further, trying to figure out how to deal with the problems we have now. And when I say repair, maintenance, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, what I'm talking about is there's pipe that you can repair and maintain. Linda covered it as well. We see pipe coming out of the ground in these infrastructure replacement programs. There's nothing wrong with them. Just because it's bare steel or just because it's cast iron, it's being ripped out. Not one leak on the entire street, yet the street, 2 streets over, there's leaks everywhere. We asked for a benchmark to actually replace the proper pipe, not the pipe that doesn't necessarily need to be ripped out. And I think someone else addressed that earlier today. Be smart with the replacement. Don't rip out pipe unless there's something wrong with it. I think Linda covered that as well. And that's it. So thank you for your time, and again, appreciate you coming.